If your hot water isn't lasting as long as it used to, or maybe you've noticed that your hot water heater is running longer than it has in the past, it may be quietly losing efficiency, and most homeowners don't recognize this. Ignoring this doesn't just mean that you could have a cold or a lukewarm shower, but you could be taking years off of the life of your unit, and it's going to cost you over $1,000 to replace it. But the fix is a home maintenance task that you can do, and you might be a little bit nervous about this one, but you're not alone, because honestly, I've been a little bit nervous to do this one myself, but when I looked into the details of what it takes to do this, I realized that I was actually overthinking this. So today, we're going to be doing this one together. Why does this matter though? Because your tap water contains dissolved minerals, primarily calcium and magnesium. And as they are heated, they sink to the bottom of your tank and cause kind of like a chalky, gritty sediment layer. Now the heating element or burner sits at the bottom of your tank. And when that layer starts to build up, that sediment layer, it can turn into an insulation layer at the bottom of your tank, which causes your tank to run longer and harder in order to heat that water. So if your energy bills seem to be climbing and you're not sure why, this could be contributing to it. But here's where it gets serious, because that extra heat, when it runs longer and harder, can cause the lining of your tank to deteriorate, and over time it will start to corrode. And that corrosion is what can lead to bigger problems where you end up with leaks and cracks in your tank. And that's not something that can be repaired, it has to be replaced. Now additionally, if you have a tank that has never been flushed and it's getting up there in age, tanks usually last somewhere between 8 and 12 years, so somewhere past 6 to 8 years, I would say. If it's never been flushed, you may not want to flush it, because I did read an article from one professional plumbing organization that said that sediment layer, once it starts to harden and calcify at the bottom, can actually act as a barrier for some of the cracks. So when you start to flush, you can loosen that up, and any crack that may actually be there that is being plugged by that sediment layer can cause a leak to happen. So you'll want to consider this before you move forward. But a job that's going to take you 20 or 30 minutes to do could save you well over $1,000 in replacing your unit prematurely. But how do we do it? Well, this is where you might be a little bit nervous because you're not quite sure of the order of operations to handle this. Now, as we move forward with this, there's a couple of safety checks that we need to go through. And the first one is making sure that your hot water heater is not going to turn on while you're emptying it. That would be very bad for the hot water heater and can cause some other problems. If you have an electric hot water heater, you will want to go to the electrical panel in your home and turn off the breaker that controls power to the hot water heater. This will make sure that it doesn't turn on while you're emptying the hot water heater. If you have a gas hot water heater, on the front of your tank, you'll notice a dial that controls the temperature. You may see an option that says either pilot or vacation. Turn it to pilot or vacation. This keeps the pilot light lit so you don't have to worry about lighting that again when you're done, and it will stop the hot water heater from trying to heat the tank while you're emptying it. Now, if you have a gas hot water heater, one point of precaution across the board with anything gas, honestly, if throughout the process you start to smell gas while you're doing this, and maybe it's getting a little bit stronger, right? Turn your gas feed off to your hot water heater and get out of your home and call a professional to help you. Don't mess around with gas. It's just way too dangerous of a material to play around with. Now mine is a little bit different because I have an electronic ignition switch. So my tank actually says to kill the electric power to it as well, which I've done at the panel, and then turn the ignition switch to off. Now I've also turned off the gas supply just as an extra step on this one, just because I don't like to have potential gas leaking out of this while I'm doing it, although it shouldn't leak out with that electronic switch. And the second precaution that we have to take, this is a hot water heater. It heats water. The water inside is scalding hot as soon as you turn it off. You will want to let that water cool. Some people say you want to wait at least 3 hours. I say wait several. I actually turned our hot water heater off while our family was taking showers this morning to just kind of naturally drain the hot water out of the tank, and that way it helped me cool it off a little bit faster. If you are going to drain this while it is scalding hot, please wear gloves, please take proper precautions and protect yourself. This water will burn your skin, and I don't want you to get injured in the process. And that's the most intimidating part about this home maintenance project. Once you get past this part, the rest is easy. So let's keep going. To start the flush process, we have to shut off our cold water that's going into the hot water heater, into the tank. On the top of your hot water heater, when you're facing it, the cold should always be on the right and the hot on the left, but the top of your tank is labeled. So So if you want to make sure you're doing the right thing, make sure you're on the cold side of the tank, as it says on the top. You can see hot on the opposite side, and just turn that shutoff valve off. This just stops the cold water from coming in, so when you drain, you're not just pushing water all the way through, although some plumbers say that that's a way you can do it. But we're not doing it that way today. Second, you'll want to connect your garden hose to the drain at the bottom of your tank. Before you connect it, just make sure that you have your rubber grommet seal inside of the end of the hose. You don't want to open this up and then all of a sudden you've got water leaking all over the place. The other end of your hose needs to be routed to a drainage point. Now, if you have a floor drain in your basement, that's a good place for you to route it to. I do not in my basement, so I'm actually going to be using the bucket method to drain this tank as far as I can, and I'm just going to have to carry this out to a utility tub, which is halfway upstairs here, in order to get all of the water out of this tank. Now you will want to go up in your home and turn on a hot water faucet. The whole purpose here is to ensure that air can get back down into the hot water line into the top of your tank, so you don't create a vacuum in here. If you don't open that up, you're not going to allow air into the tank, and it won't be able to use gravity to push that water out of the drain at the bottom. Now you can use a flathead screwdriver to put it inside of the ball valve here and turn in order to open up and allow the water to come out. Now, after 6 years of having this hot water heater and not draining it, I'm surprised that this water is as clear as it is. I expected to see more sediment at the bottom. Yours may be a little bit darker, yours may come out clean as well, and if it's coming out clean, it's actually a good thing. That's saying that you don't have a ton at the bottom that you have to flush out of your system. But we'll let this run until it empties. It's just me moving into the next bucket. Once you've fully drained your tank, you'll want to stir up the sediment at the bottom of the tank, and you'll do that by exercising your cold water valve. Some people will tell you to do it really fast. I've actually read, and some plumbers have stated, that if you do it too fast in an older tank, that's actually something that could cause a problem. So everyone says just to open it and close it, and then open it again and close it, and then drain one more time. With the agitation done and that final drain completed, we can start to reverse the process to fill our tank back up. And it all starts with closing the valve on the drain at the bottom of the tank. Now you can disconnect your hose, and I'm just putting a small towel underneath it in order to catch any drip. And just keep in mind that your hose is full of water right now. Try not to drain that in your basement. Next, turn the cold water supply back on to start filling your tank up again. As the tank fills, you'll notice that you're going to start to get air spitting out, and that's just flushing all of the air out of your system so that you can get water coming out of the faucet. And this will go on for a while. Once the air stops spitting out of your hot water faucet upstairs in your home and you have a steady stream of water, you're ready to go. You can shut that faucet, and now your tank is full and it has pushed the air through your pipes to that faucet. Now you may notice a little bit of spitting at some of your other hot water faucets as you turn them on. That's normal, don't worry about it. It will stop shortly. But now we need to heat this water back up. So if you are using an electric hot water heater, go back to your panel, turn the power back on, and let the water heat up. And it's going to take a little while to do so. If you have a gas hot water heater and you turn your dial to pilot or vacation, turn it back to the heat setting that you had it set on previously, and it will fire up and start to heat up the tank. For me, because I have that igniter switch on mine, I have to do a little bit of a different process. So if you have this, you'll want to do this. Make sure your gas is turned on, flip that switch on the igniter itself to on, and then go back to your electrical panel and turn it back on. And these are the instructions straight off of the sticker on the front of the tank. You'll notice that it will click and turn on, fire up that pilot, and get the heat going so you can have hot water again. Now, as mine heats up, there's one thing that I want to mention, and that is if your pilot light went out as a part of this process, you will want to follow the instructions for your hot water heater to get that going again. Unfortunately, since I don't have the ability to manually light mine, I can't show you, but just follow those instructions and you'll be good to go. Following this process can save your hot water heater from an early demise. It can also stop leaks and water going into your basement. But there is another thing that you need to maintain in your home that you're probably ignoring that will also prevent water from coming into your basement. And for more information on what that is, click or tap on this video. And until the next time, keep doing it yourself.